symbol before? On buildings, rings, or maybe a car bumper. It's a 5-pointed star with the points facing down, an altar in the middle, and different symbols in each triangle. But what does it actually mean? This is the emblem of the Order of the Eastern Star, a fraternal organization with more than 150 years of history. You often hear about it in the same breath as Freemasonry, and they are closely connected. But make no mistake, this is not Freemasonry. It's an organization for both women and men, with its own unique identity and purpose. So, what's the real story behind the Order of the Eastern Star? Is it a secret society, a religion, or something else entirely? In this video, we're going to peel back the layers, separate fact from fiction, and give you a full, respectful explanation of its history, the 5 points of its symbolic star, and the true purpose of this often misunderstood society. We'll look at where it came from, what its members believe in, and the incredible charitable work they're still doing today. The foundation. What is the Order of the Eastern Star? At its heart, the Order of the Eastern Star is a fraternal organization focused on service, and it's open to both men and women. The whole point is to create a community built on the principles of charity, truth, and loving kindness. It's actually one of the largest organizations of its kind in the world, with about 500,000 members and roughly 10,000 chapters across 18 countries. But before we go any further, let's clear up a few things it isn't. The Order of the Eastern Star is not a religion. While its lessons are drawn from biblical stories, it welcomes people of all faiths. The only spiritual requirement is a belief in a supreme being. It's also not a secret society. Like many similar groups, its meetings are private and for members only, but its mission and charitable work are very public. The connection to Freemasonry is a huge part of its identity. The order was founded by Dr. Rob Morris, a passionate master Mason who believed that the female relatives of Masons deserved their own fraternal group that shared the same high moral standards. Because of this, membership has always been tied to Freemasonry. To join, men need to be Master Masons, and women traditionally had to be a wife, daughter, mother, or sister of one. Over the years, however, the rules in many places have expanded to include members of Masonic youth groups like Job's Daughters and the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, and in some cases, even sponsored members. A journey through history. To really get the Eastern Star, we have to jump back to the middle of the 19th century. The founder, Dr. Rob Morris, was a lawyer, teacher, and a very influential Freemason who even served as the Grand Master of Kentucky. In 1850, while he was teaching in Mississippi, he was inspired to create a degree system for women. This was a time when women had very few chances for leadership or to be part of public organizations, and Morris saw an order that could give them a platform for service, moral leadership, and friendship. He carefully developed the rituals and teachings, basing them on the lives of 5 heroic women from the Bible. He called his original creation the Rosary of the Eastern Star. By 1855, he'd even set up a supreme constellation in New York to start new chapters. But the order really started to look like it does today in 1866. As Morris was getting ready for a long trip to the Holy Land, he passed his work to Robert McCoy. McCoy was also a Mason and a well-known publisher of fraternal materials. He revised the rituals, created a more organized structure for local chapters, and published the first official ritual book, which is largely the foundation for what's still used today.
Okay, so I can't even explain this, but I swear, after 1 week of being on this HRT, I felt like
Today. The organization took off. Just a decade later, in 1876, representatives from chapters across the country met in Indianapolis, Indiana, to form the General Grand Chapter. This national body was created to standardize the rituals and coordinate the work of chapters everywhere. Now, it's impossible to tell this story without also acknowledging the history of the Prince Hall Order of the Eastern Star. Back in the 19th century, mainstream Freemasonry and its related groups, including the Eastern Star, were segregated, and black men and women were not allowed to join. In response, Prince Hall Freemasonry, which was created in the late 1700s for African American men, developed its own family of organizations. On December 1st, 1874, Queen Esther Chapter No. 1, the very first Prince Hall Order of the Eastern Star Chapter, was established in Washington, D.C. by Thornton Andrew Jackson. This created a parallel and independent path for black women to take part in the Eastern Star traditions, and it continues to thrive as a distinct and respected organization today. The symbols explained. The 5 points of the star. The most famous symbol of the order is its 5-pointed star. Now, you might see an inverted pentagram and associate it with negative or occult symbolism, and that's led to some major misunderstandings. But for the Order of the Eastern Star, this emblem has a totally different and deeply positive meaning. The star itself is inspired by the Star of Bethlehem, representing the light of God's guidance. The points face downward to symbolize virtues descending from heaven to earth. Each point of the star honors a biblical heroine and a virtue that members are inspired to live by. The stories of these 5 women are the bedrock of the order's moral teachings. The first point is blue and represents Ada, a figure from the Book of Judges. In the order's tradition, her story is one of respecting duty and the sacredness of a promise. Ada's lesson is the virtue of obedience to a binding vow. Her symbols are the sword and veil, representing the solemn sacrifice she was willing to make. The second point is yellow, dedicated to Ruth. The story from the Book of Ruth tells of a young widow who showed fierce loyalty by refusing to leave her mother-in-law Naomi. She chose to follow Naomi to a strange land, famously saying, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay." Her lesson is loyalty to family, friends, and your commitments. Her symbol is the sheaf of barley, representing the harvest she gathered and the reward for hard work. The third point of the star is white and represents Esther. As the Queen of Persia, Esther risked her own life to save her people from annihilation. Facing an impossible choice, she found the strength to approach the king without being summoned, an act that could have meant her death, and bravely pleaded for their survival. Her lesson is courage and loyalty to one's faith and people, even when facing extreme personal danger. Her symbols are the crown and scepter, which stand for royalty and power used for a good cause. The fourth point is green and represents Martha, the sister of Mary and Lazarus from the New Testament. When her brother Lazarus died, Martha was overcome with grief, but her conversation with Jesus showed an unshakable faith in his power and in the promise of resurrection. Her story teaches the virtue of faith and trust in God and the hope of eternal life, even in our darkest moments of loss. Her symbol is the broken column, representing the loss of a loved one and the fleeting nature of life on earth. Finally, the fifth point is red, representing Electa. The name Electa, meaning the elect lady, is found in the second epistle of John. She is seen as a mother who faced persecution for her Christian faith. Commanded to renounce her beliefs or see her children killed, she chose to hold fast to her principles. Her story teaches the virtues of charity and patient endurance in times of hardship. Her symbol is the cup, representing the mix of joys and sorrows in life that we all must accept with grace. Together, These 5 heroines and their stories provide a moral compass that guides the members of the Order of the Eastern Star in their daily lives. The organization today: charity, community, and fellowship. So what does the Order of the Eastern Star look like today? It's still a vibrant organization focused on its core values. The foundation is the local chapter, led by a worthy matron and a worthy patron. These chapters are part of state-level grand chapters, which all operate under the General Grand Chapter, with its international headquarters in the stunning Perry Belmont Mansion in Washington, D.C. The main focus of the modern order is charity. Members give their time and money to a huge range of philanthropic projects. One of the most important international projects is supporting service dog programs. Through fundraising and grants, the OES helps organizations that train and give service dogs to people who need them for more independence, including veterans with PTSD and children with autism. Many grand chapters have made it possible to provide multiple service dogs to families, completely changing their lives. Other major charitable efforts include funding for medical research, with a focus on areas like regenerative medicine, Alzheimer's, and cancer. Many chapters also offer scholarships, especially for students pursuing religious studies through the ESTARL Fund, which stands for Eastern Star Training Awards for Religious Leadership. The organization also provides major support to Masonic youth groups like the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, Job's Daughters International, and the Order of Damalay for boys, viewing them as the next generation of leaders. Beyond these big projects, local chapters are deeply involved in their own towns, running food drives, supporting shelters, and offering help to both members and non-members in times of need. It's this blend of global effort and local action that truly defines their mission. And through it all, fellowship remains a cornerstone, with chapters offering a powerful social and support network for their members. So in conclusion, from Dr. Rob Morris's visionary idea to its modern-day status as a major international charitable organization, the Order of the Eastern Star has a rich and inspiring history. It's a world away from the mysterious cult it's sometimes made out to be. Instead, it's a society of women and men committed to the principles of charity, truth, and loving kindness. Its symbolism, built around 5 heroic women of the Bible, isn't a collection of secrets, but a guide for living a better life. A call to be loyal like Ruth, courageous like Esther, faithful like Martha, and charitable like Electa. While its roots are in Masonic tradition, it has stood for over 150 years as its own distinct organization that has created a space for women's leadership and service. Through its incredible charity work, from funding service dogs to advancing medical research, the Order of the Eastern Star continues to make a quiet but powerful impact on communities all over the world. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more that explore the history and meaning behind fraternal organizations, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or personal experiences with the Order of the
Alright, hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at this beautiful little sort of dark green book. This is the Ritual of the Order of the Eastern Star. You can see this beautiful gold work on the cover here. And this, if you can see it here, it makes the letters O, E, and S all interlaced together there for Order of the Eastern Star. And it's got a decorative border around the edge. Nothing on the spine, and then just the border on the back here. So before we open this up, I just want to give kind of a brief introduction. So the Order of the Eastern Star, it's a specific appendant body of Freemasonry, and it was created by Rob Morris in the year 1850, mostly to allow women some level of Masonic membership, which they weren't allowed under traditional Freemasonry. So this is an image of the structure of Freemasonry here, and oddly enough, I got this little piece of paper from, I just found it in a book I got at a thrift store. So here you can see at the bottom we've got Entered Apprentice, Fellow Craft, and then Master Mason at the Blue Lodge, and then they have these branching paths, and right at the beginning here, on this right hand side, we've got the Order of the Eastern Star, and their little logo there. So I just wanted to show that so you can see how it relates to the other bodies of Masonry. And then this is a cool decorative plate
At a thrift store, which shows the Order of the Eastern Star symbol in the middle here. All these points around the five-pointed star, they are associated with a certain biblical character, and then it's got the word fatal written in the middle there around some holy text. And on the back here you can see OES for Order of the Eastern Star, and then hand painted it says. So I wonder who made this and which lodge it came from. Alright, so let's go into the main video here and just take a look at the book.
So here we've got their main emblem again. Fatal written around the altar in the middle. And this is the Ritual of the Order of the Eastern Star, published by authority of the General Grand Chapter. A beautiful title page. I love these fonts and decorative lettering.
So this was published in Washington, D.C. It says it's the first edition, amended August 1925, first copyrighted in 1890. Here's the preface. In pursuance of a call issued and endorsed by several grand chapters, a convention of representatives was held at Indianapolis, Indiana, November 16, 1876, and the General Grand Chapter, Order of the Eastern Star, was organized. A ritual committee was appointed, and in 1878, the General Grand Chapter adopted the work, which was published by its authority. At this session, in 1883, a committee on ritual was appointed, with instructions to receive all proper amendments and report the same at the next meeting. In 1886, the committee was continued. At the session in 1889, the ritual committee presented a ritual as a result of their labors, which was adopted. It says, at the session of the General Grand Chapter, held in Washington, D.C., 1898, a committee on ritual was appointed, which reported in 1901 certain amendments that were adopted. So this is just showing the evolution of the ritual, basically. Then at the bottom it says, we therefore certify the following to be the ritual as amended at the Assembly of the General Grand Chapter, August 1925. Clara Henrick, Most Worthy Grand Matron, J. Ernest Tier, Most Worthy Grand Patron, and Minnie Evan Keyes, Right Worthy Grand Secretary. And here we have a list of the table of contents, preface, instructions, opening, closing, initiation, installation, subordinate chapter, and grand chapter, funeral ceremonies, constitutional provisions. We've got the instructions, the ballot. The ballot upon petitions for the degrees or membership can only be taken at a regular meeting. The associate conductress shall have charge of the ballot box under the direction of the worthy matron. So let's jump forward here. Here we have a section for the badges, jewels, and regalia. The officers shall wear during chapter sessions the badge of office belonging to their respective offices. The badge shall consist of the appropriate jewel made of gold or gilded metal and suspended by a ribbon having the 5 colors of the order. Collars, robes, and other regalia, in addition to what is here prescribed, may be worn by chapters that desire them, the general grand chapter only prescribing the minimum. And then here we have a description of the jewels. The jewels appropriate to the several officers are as follows. Worthy matron, 5-pointed star with gavel in the center. Worthy patron, 5-pointed star with square and compasses in the center, etc. And on this next page, we've got some images of the members' badges. During chapter sessions, members may wear upon the left breast a badge embracing a 5-pointed star in the 5 colors of the order. So we can see all of those here. We've got ones for matron, patron, associate matron, secretary, treasurer, conductress, associate conductress, chaplain, marshal, organist, warder, sentinel. And then we've got the 5 biblical characters here: Ada, Ruth, Esther, Martha, and Electa. And each one of those has a different symbology to it. Here's the opening of the chapter. When ready for the opening exercises, the officers, with the exception of the worthy patron and associate conductress, retire to the anteroom. The associate conductress assumes her chair, and the worthy patron, ascending the dais, gives 1 blow with the gavel. After requesting all present who are not members of the order to retire, he says, "Worthy patron, sister associate conductress, worthy patron." Officers rise and respond whenever addressed and remain standing until seated by an order from the east. Worthy patron, you will invite the worthy matron and other officers to enter the chapter room. And so this is how each of the sort of lodge meetings are opened. And this is what is meant by ritual. Typically, it's just these sort of manuals for how these meetings are conducted and how they are meant to proceed with these kind of call and responses. So here's closing the lodge, and then, oh, there's this beautiful image of a rose and a lily, it looks like, some sort. Initiation ceremonies. The initiation ceremony is the same for gentlemen as for ladies, and both may receive the degrees at the same time. The officers should carefully change the words, adapting them to the initiation of a lady or gentleman, or ladies and gentlemen, as circumstances require. The time having arrived for initiation and it being probable that candidates are in waiting, if robes are used, the officers retire and prepare for the ceremony of initiation. Worthy matron, sister associate conductress, worthy matron. Worthy matron, you will retire and ascertain if there are candidates in waiting to receive the degrees. The associate conductress advances to the west of Esther's chair, gives the sign of salutation, and, the warder having given the usual raps and opened the door, retires. Ascertaining the name of the candidate, she returns and, standing west of Esther's chair, gives the sign of salutation and says, "Associate conductress, worthy matron, I find in waiting who is desirous of being initiated into our order." Worthy matron, worthy patron, the associate conductress reports a candidate in waiting to receive the degrees. I, therefore, invite you to preside during the ceremonies of initiation. The worthy patron, taking the gavel, says, "Worthy patron, sister secretary, worthy patron, has this candidate been elected to receive the degrees of the order?" Secretary, she has, worthy patron, sister associate conductress, you will retire and prepare the candidate for the ceremonies of initiation. She gives the sign and retires as before, taking the candidate into the preparation room. She says, associate conductress, do you believe in the existence of a supreme being? Answer, I do. My friend, human life is a labyrinth through which we all wander blindly and too often in ignorance. It is good to consider the experience of others and profit by their knowledge and example. Having received the degrees of our order, and, therefore, being able to assist you, permit me to direct your preparation for the ceremonies of initiation. She then removes the candidate's hat, gloves, and shawl or cloak, prepares and leads her to the door of the chapter room. The associate conductress gives 5 raps upon the door. Do-do-do-do-do. Conductress, worthy patron, there is an alarm at the door of the preparation room. Worthy patron, sister conductress, you will ascertain the cause of the alarm. The conductress goes to the door, answers the alarm, do-do-do-do-do-do, and opening the door, says, Conductress, who knocks at the door of our chapter? Associate conductress, the associate conductress, with a candidate who desires to be initiated into our order. Conductress, is she properly prepared? Associate conductress, she is. Conductress, my friend, you will wait until further orders are received from the worthy patron. The conductress closes the door and, advancing to a position in front of the associate matron facing the east, says, Conductress, worthy patron, the alarm was caused by the associate conductress with the candidate who desires to receive the degrees of our order. Worthy patron, is the candidate properly prepared? Conductress, she is. Worthy patron, you will admit her. The conductress, returning to the door, opens it wide and says, Conductress, it is the order of the worthy patron that you be admitted to our chapter. Before the door is opened to receive the candidate, the lights may be turned down and soft music played during this lecture by the conductress. The candidate is led inside the door and stopped. The conductress then says to her, Conductress, you have doubtless well considered the step you have taken in seeking admission to this order, dedicated to charity, truth, and loving kindness. You came here of your own free choice. Complain not, therefore, at any trial. A seal is here set upon your lips. Let it warn you to be ever silent and secret, as to all that may be made known to you here. Be not wary in well-doing. Woe unto those who seek to take upon themselves burdens which they cannot bear. Woe unto the faithless and insincere, who assume obligations lightly and forthwith forget them. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy paths. So that continues there, but we'll leave that for now. going forward, we can see that they have sections where they describe a little bit some of the symbolism behind these images. So here it says, Sister Conductress, your badge is the scroll and baton within the star, an emblem of prepared plans and their fulfillment, admonishing you that the first impressions made upon candidates are permanent and should be for good. There's one for the Sister Associate Conductress, and the other one's there. Here are some of the biblical characters for the degrees. Sister Ruth, your badge is the sheaf within the triangle, an emblem of plenty, admonishing you that patient industry shall not go unrewarded. There's one for Sister Esther and Martha and Electa there. And these are for receiving the badges of office, it looks like. Installation ceremonies of the grand officers are where we're at in the book. And then here is the section for funeral ceremonies of the Order of the Eastern Star, adopted by the General Grand Chapter. You can see a broken pillar there. Funeral ceremonies of the Order of the Eastern Star. The burial of a sister or brother, the badges of the members and officers should be draped with crape. A floral 5-pointed star should be provided, having flowers of the appropriate colors for the several points. The star officers should each have a small bouquet or a few loose flowers of the appropriate color. A few flowers should also be provided for the worthy matron and worthy patron. The floral star may be deposited with the casket or be retained by the family of the deceased. The service, although primarily designed for use at the grave, can, if it is thought best to do so, be performed within the chapter room, the church, or other appropriate place. The members may meet at the chapter room or at the place of service. Here we have a layout of what the funeral would look like. And then at the end here we have the Order of the Eastern Star General Regulations. So we've got the title, this organization shall be known as the Order of the Eastern Star, membership requirements, affiliated Master Masons, their wives, daughters, legally adopted daughters, mothers, sisters, and half-sisters, also the widows, daughters, legally adopted daughters, mothers, sisters, and half-sisters of Master Masons who were affiliated at the time of their death are eligible to be membership in this order, provided that all petitioners shall have attained to at least the age of 18 years. And then we've got more sort of rules here and landmarks. So the first is a belief in the existence of a supreme being. 2, in the Order of the Eastern Star there are only 5 degrees, known as Ada, the daughter, Ruth, the widow, Esther, the wife, Martha, the sister, and Electa, the mother. The name of the order, the names of its degrees and modes of recognition are unchangeable. Its lessons are scriptural, its teachings moral, and its purposes beneficent. Its obligations are based upon the honor of those who obtain its secrets, and are framed upon the principle that whatever benefits are due by Masons to the wives, daughters, mothers, widows, and sisters of Masons, reciprocal duties are due from them to the Brotherhood. And we've got a list of subordinate chapters there, and then finally an image showing the layout of the chapter room. You can see up here we've got the worthy matron and worthy patron, preparation room, and a sentinel at the bottom. And that's that. So that is the ritual of the Order of the Eastern Star. Just a small little book there. Let's go back and take a look at that cool title page with the really beautiful lettering. Yeah, so if you liked the video, feel free to leave a like and a comment and consider subscribing. And thank you so much for watching. I'll be putting out some more in the near future. Thanks. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be putting out some more. Yes, sir. Thanks. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow Masons, it is with great honor and enthusiasm that I welcome you to the Chancellor Robert R. Livingston Masonic Library Live Lecture. This esteemed institution, steeped in the rich traditions of Freemasonry, has been a beacon of knowledge, enlightenment, and fraternity for almost 175 years. Tonight, we gather in a spirit of curiosity and enlightenment to partake in an engaging lecture that promises to broaden our horizons. And to do our introductions tonight, we have Right Worshipful Rodney Cordo, who is the first Vice President of the Library's Trustees. Rodney? Just right here. Steve. Robert Carlo, Pants Paul and Dave, and Jim, and Jim, and then Steve. This is the second of a series of lectures. My wife is the library is nice to be here. I joined. I was in China. So but very excited to be here. We have some yes with us. It's an important aspect of lectures. We would like to online, pressing online, reading, really fantastic position, trying to pressing online, and find download the chapter that you can read better and
No, you can sit right here. I'm going to be speaking. So, so you can sit. I'm going to be presenting going up soon.
Very fascinating. Run this in doing research, doing really great work. Watch out. No. And finally, a dispensation. And that was rising. Also, he's their body. If you got a dispensation, you got to get a job. So you have a dispensation. Say probably about 91%. We also have myself, the executive director, and looked at the other